Hello guys, welcome to Current News. I'm your host, Chris Davis. Okay, so this is going to be a review of Pokemon Sword and Shield Isle of Armor. Now, tomorrow, probably when you see this video, the Crowned Tundra will be released. I'm recording this video Wednesday night on the 21st, so the Crowned Tundra is supposed to come out on the 22nd or the 23rd. Whatever time zone you're in is probably will be like late. It'll probably be evening time when the Crown Tundra comes out in North America. But this is my review of the Isle of Armor. So some people didn't like the Isle of Armor because it didn't have a story element to it. But to me, I understand that. But the Isle of Armor was great. It was amazing. The journey starts off with you going on the train station, and then you are flown to the Isle of Armor. You go in one of the train stations, and then you're taken to the Isle of Armor, and then you meet a person, Avery or Clara, depending on whatever version you have, and they're super insecure, and they're trying to undermine. They're trying to not undermine. That's not the right word. They're trying to sabotage your journey in the Isle of Armor. While you're in the Isle of Armor, you meet Mustard, and you meet the dojo matron Honey. And so they have you do various tasks, from catching Slowpoke to finding max mushrooms, which we'll get into a little bit later on in this video. And then after you defeat your rival, Clara or Avery, depending on the version you have, you then go to the either Tower of Darkness or Tower of Water. Now, before you go to these towers, you're given a special Pokemon called Cubfu, and depending on what it evolves into, Urshifu Water style, or Rapid Strike style, or Urshifu Single Strike style. That's a dark fighting type. So depending on which tower you go to, either the Tower of Water or the Tower of Darkness, depends on whatever your Cubfu evolves into. And I really liked doing the task and the test in the Isle of Armor. They were really interesting. Of course, when you complete one of the towers, your Cubfu evolves into Urshifu. And Urshifu is a good Pokemon. It doesn't break the metagame, but it's still useful. You can put one on your team. I think the Rapid Strike style may be stronger due to its typing, water fighting. It has more weaknesses than the dark fighting, but more resistances, and it doesn't get, hit by fairy as hard. But I chose the Single Strike style because I have plenty of water Pokemon that I use on my team, and I was looking to try a dark fighting type. Other than that, the area in the Isle of Armor, it's not as big as the
I like to think of the name color.
As the wild area in the Galar region, but it's a pretty decent size. You can go through the water. There's different caves for you to explore. Speaking of things to do, in the Isle of Armor, there's this guy who has a Alolan Diglett, and one of the things you can do there is optional. You can find all of the Alolan Diglett, all 151 of them, and by doing so, you get rewards like Alolan version of Pokemon. So Alolan Vulpix, an Alolan Exeggutor, and Alolan Marowak. So you can get one of the Alolan starters. Depending on which starter you chose for the Galar region, you're gonna get a certain Alolan starter. So if you chose Scorbunny, you get Torque, you get Litten. things you can do in the Isle of Armor, other things you can do. I found this one pretty interesting. Restrictive sparring. So basically, you choose a type that you're going to use, and then the people who you're battling against, they don't use that type, but you stick to that type, and by doing that, you can earn BP, which can help you buy certain items for competitive. So, throat spray, room service, all those different items, mint. If you're into the meta game, you can use those battle points, of course, to buy items to make your Pokemon more competitive. Other things you can do is when you're doing raid events now, you get Armorite ore, and you can use that for move tutors. So in the Isle of Armor, there are move tutors that can teach your Pokemon new moves. One really good one, Grassy Glide, has made Rillaboom useful. Like before the Isle of Armor, Rillaboom really didn't have any use. It was the least of the Galar starters, but with its hidden ability and Grassy Glide, it may be like number one out of all the Galar starters. Other things that can really keep you busy in the Isle of Armor is upgrading the dojo. So in order to upgrade the dojo, you need to collect watts, and you get watts by doing max raid battles. And with the max raid battles, you're getting watts, you're getting other items, and you're getting Armorite ore, which you can use for currency. So there's a lot that you get out of it by upgrading the dojo. One other thing you can do to help you upgrade the dojo even faster is finding the Digging Paw. So Digging Paw, in the Isle of Armor, you give him 7 pieces of Armorite, he'll dig up watts for you, and that's a faster way for you to farm watts other than doing max raid battles, because that can take a long time. And I mean that in order to upgrade to the dojo fully, you would have to spend you would have to give away 3 million watts. And you're probably asking me, Chris, like, what do I get out of like upgrading the dojo other than more max rate, more Dynamax candy, more Armorite ore, more items? What else do I get out of it? There's things that can really help you in competitive. So when you upgrade the dojo, there's a vending machine. So it's pretty cool. This vending machine has protein, carbos, calcium. So these items that you get in the vending machine can help you make your Pokemon competitive faster. So rather than trying to go into the wild area and using a power band to get your effort values up, or doing the Poke jobs, you now have a faster way to get your Pokemon's effort values up. And when I mean the vending machine is useful, it's useful. You can buy a lot of proteins in bulk for a very good price, and it can help you make your Pokemon competitively faster when you go into the victory station to battle people online. Another cool thing about the Isle of Armor is the Cram-o-matic. So you put in certain items, and you can craft items. So a really cool thing that the Isle of Armor has brought back, which I've always been a big fan of, is the Kurt Ball. So the Love Ball, the Friend Ball, the Heavy Ball, the Fast Ball, the Level Ball, the Moon Ball. I am still a huge fan of the Kurt Balls, because when those came out in Generation 2, which I think is the best Pokemon version that has come out, a significant improvement over the first one, I really liked the Kurt Balls. So there's the Cram-o-matic. You put in certain items, and you can get items back, though it's randomized, and you can look online to see how to craft certain items, but it's really a kind of a luck thing. But the Cram-o-matic is very useful. Apricorns are back. Now, when you put in the apricorns, there's no guarantee that you're going to get a certain Pokeball, and that's kind of the downside to it. But crafting items in Pokemon is pretty cool, so that's a plus for me. Though it would be better, in my opinion, if they had an ingredient list for you to put in certain items to get a certain outcome. Like if I wanted a heavy ball, then a black apricorn or something else in order to get a heavy ball. The visuals in the Isle of Armor are stunning. They're really cool. There's overworld Pokemon. There's more rare Pokemon you can catch. In the Isle of Armor, they've added more Pokemon that weren't included in the Pokemon Sword and Shield game when it released. Other amazing events that you can do when you're playing the Isle of Armor is you can battle Mustard, and this is really after you've beaten one of the towers. You battle him, and he has the Urshifu that you didn't select. So an example, if you chose Tower of Darkness, when you battle Mustard for the final time, he's going to use the Rapid Strike Urshifu against you, and vice versa. Hop also returns, and you and him go on an adventure to get your Urshifu to Gigantamax. So, well, I don't really think this is a spoiler. The game's been out, and Crowned Tundra is coming out tomorrow. Urshifu won't just take the Gigantamax soup. So you have to go on this journey to get some honey and then add it to the Gigantamax soup to get Urshifu to Gigantamax. Which leads to another thing. In the Isle of Armor, if you collect these max mushrooms, you can make a max soup, and you can get any Pokemon that's able to Gigantamax. You can give them that soup, and then they can Gigantamax. So if I have a Grimmsnarl and he can't Gigantamax, if I collect these mushrooms and I make the Gigantamax soup and I give my Grimmsnarl the soup, he will then be able to Gigantamax when I Dynamax him in battle. So if you wanted to catch certain Pokemon that can Gigantamax, you don't have to go hunting through max raid battles in order to get those Pokemon that Gigantamax. You can give them the max. You can get them the max soup, the Gigantamax soup, and then they'll be ready. All the things that Isle of Armor has in it has made it easier to get into competitive Pokemon and to get your Pokemon competitively ready faster with the vending machine, with Gigantamax. All these conveniences they have done have been able to make getting into Pokemon, playing Pokemon competitively a lot easier. Now, some people are going to put down the Isle of Armor because of the lack of story. So I'll admit, story-wise, there wasn't a lot there. You just did different trials, and then you just did different tasks. But that's okay, because there's a lot of things that they've given you in the Isle of Armor to make training and raising your Pokemon a lot easier. So before Isle of Armor, you would have to either get lucky through the max raid battles in order to get a competitive Gigantamax Pokemon. But thanks to the Isle of Armor, you can breed a competitive Pokemon, and it doesn't have to be Gigantamax. You just give it that Gigantamax soup, and then you have a competitive Pokemon that can Gigantamax. And so I really appreciate the convenience in the Isle of Armor. So what do I give the Isle of Armor? It's really good. It's given a lot of things that make training your Pokemon a lot easier. So I would give like the Isle of Armor an 8 out of 10. It deserves an 8 out of 10. It doesn't deserve even a mediocre score, because they've delivered a lot of things that make training and raising your Pokemon a lot easier. It used to be tough to get a Gigantamax Pokemon competitively ready, but it's not anymore. It's easier. If you're not into competitive battling, I understand that. You really go in there for the story, and story-wise, there wasn't much there, but there was a lot of other things that you can do to get strong Pokemon or catch new Pokemon, like the Alolan Pokemon, finding the Alolan Diglets. If you did that, you were able to get some Alolan Pokemon. So I really liked the Isle of Armor. I was late getting into it, but the Crowned Tundra is coming out, and I won't be late for that one. I'll play it when it comes out. But yeah, the Isle of Armor was great. If you haven't played it yet, I recommend you play the Isle of Armor first, because unless you've completed the towers and you've battled Mustard one final time, you won't be able to play the Galarian Star Tournament when the Crown Tundra ends. The Galarian Star Tournament is way back in the post game, so you want to complete the Isle of Armor first, just to get that out of the way before you play the Crown Tundra. So that's my review. If you guys played in the Isle of Armor, tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you like about it? What did you not like about it? What are you hoping for the Crown Tundra? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you liked what I had to share, please hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with all of your friends, and all of you have a great day.